Let's go. What's up? Good day to you. Evan Bass here with Get Your Man On. I'm so excited about today's show because my boy Josh Stiglets is here. The man, the myth, the legend, the celebrity trainer. He trains me, so I'm the celebrity. I'm just kidding. He does a bunch of other celebrity training.
Well, hey, that counts. You've qualified.
It totally
me.
counts.
Yeah,
It totally
you've definitely
counts. We were
qualified
in
me.
a Us Weekly magazine or something together, I
that's
believe. That absolutely counts. You coached me through the Bachelorette and Bachelor in Paradise, getting in training. I'm still, I don't go back and watch those episodes much, but like, I still get mad at myself for not completely dialing into my diet. It's 31 years old, 32, something like that. And it was like, you were like, just do these things. And I just couldn't stop drinking. Like I was drinking and living this single life in downtown Nashville. And like, just couldn't do it. And then it's funny. Like I got in the best shape of my life. I'm the only guy in the history of that show to get in the best shape of his life after going on The Bachelor. Like, what the heck? But you preached to me, and sometimes it just takes a little bit of time. I've watched a transformation happen with you. You had full, total replacement shoulder surgery, right?
Yes.
Did I say that correctly?
Full joint replacement, total joint replacement.
Yeah, and that was what, 3 months ago?
Yeah, it's been about 3 months and a week, maybe. So
3 months in a week. And if you guys could see this man in the gym, he's out lifting everybody again. Like, well, I mean, where you were on about 3 months ago is the last time we had you on the show. And were you about to do it, or were you?
I had already.
You had just done it. You
Mm-hmm.
had been like just getting back into it, and I was in shock of what was happening. But
Yeah.
now it's been, I don't know, what, 2 months maybe after.
Yeah, probably.
And you, like, the progression that you've made. I've never seen you this shredded,
Yes.
like, ever. Have you ever been this as shredded as you are now?
I have been this lean a couple times in my life.
How old are you again?
I am 44, about to be 45.
About to be 45.
Yeah, and so
Looking
I'm
30.
sitting, sub 5% body fat at this point.
Is that healthy?
And it is healthy if it is healthy if you are feeding yourself and doing it the appropriate way and
Yeah.
making sure you're supplementing carefully. And the supplements become much more important as we start to trim food out and trim calories out. The supplementation can really help fill the gaps that we have in our nutrition as we're dialing back a little bit. And so one of the interesting catalysts. So, Evan, I'm gonna have the surgery, and Evan invited me in to get my testosterone levels checked.
That's me. That's me, by the way.
Yes, Evan. Yes. When I went in to get the levels checked, I typically run fairly high. A lot of times it'll be in the 600 to 900 range. When I came in, it was much lower. We were surprised that we had a little bit of deviation in my testosterone levels. I was surprised, and I think it had to do with the lack of quality sleep, lots of pain from that shoulder that needed to be removed and replaced. So Evan invited me to get on an HCG protocol, and I really attribute a lot of what has happened post-surgery to having that boost from the HCG, and it took my testosterone into a level over 1,000, surprisingly. So it is highly effective treatment, and
Yeah. So just to back up a little bit, you were like, man, I feel like, I'm not quite hitting what I used to. You had the surgery stuff going on, you had that coming up, and I was like, well, I mean, I'm pretty sure your testosterone is going to be like in the normal range, but you're not feeling as good. And we've talked on this, about how on the show about how testosterone isn't very well measured in men as a general rule. Like, we don't have a baseline for guys, but I bet your testosterone's always been like 1,600 since you were 18 years old. And so like 600 for you may actually be low relative to where you've been, because you've been working out your whole life doing all that stuff. So I'm fairly passionate about guys starting to get tested at the age of 18, even younger perhaps. And then that way they can track where they are and when it starts to hit that decline. And so I was like, Josh, come on, just get tested. Let's see what's going. So provider was like, yeah, we can try some HCG. And it's been we can test them out on you and, you know, see if that improves some of your symptoms. And you have been off to the freaking races.
Yeah,
Like,
it's been astonishing, honestly, and you know, to have like I'm guessing it's probably a 20 to 30% increase. It is that does not seem like a lot, but I can feel a difference in my daily living. So I know it's carrying over into my fitness training and recovery from this surgery. But even my energy levels in the evening when I get home, instead of wanting to sit down, I am forcing myself to sit down. And a lot of times this isn't happening until 10 or 11 at night. You know, I have to be up 4 o'clock the next morning. I can roll on 4 or 5 hours of sleep. I feel great when I wake up. I have tons of energy. I'm hitting 3 a days in the gym. I'm eating really lean. I have limitless.
Did you say you're hitting 3 a day?
A lot of times I am
not 3 days a week, but 3 a day.
3 a day. Well, it's, you know,
you're
it's
not
usually,
real.
There's usually
we are living in a simulation.
Well, there's I like to do a little cardio session, so I try to do some kind of, you know, walk or run at some point during the day, and then I have therapy for the shoulder, which is another, you know, 30 to 60 minutes typically that I'm working on just things specific to healing that shoulder, and then another hour to hour and a half of trying to focus on some bigger lifts. And this is not that I have this much time, it's that I am making this much time because I have a high desire to get myself back to my typical level of fitness and function in my shoulder. So my motivation level is through the roof.
I mean, so here with Josh Stiglets, my AI-generated bionic personal trainer, trainer to the stars, very, very successful guys you train. You're just been so influential in our community. And surrounding communities all over the place. I know there's, you know, country music stars that love you, and you've changed their lives so much, and that's really cool. But most guys aren't AI generated like you, and can survive like literally come back better from a shoulder surgery than you. So what would you say to a guy who wants to, you know, I'm not sure, you know, what a reasonable goal would be for a guy that's maybe there's a guy who's your age, 44, who's, you know, carrying some extra weight, maybe some belly fat, maybe he's not feeling great, he's tired at the night. What's a guy, what do you do in that moment for that guy?
Well, this is where, at this point in my life, after seeing so many success stories with some of the endogenous hormone supplementation that you provide, this is now becoming one of my first go-tos. When I have somebody that's really struggling with energy levels and weight loss, you know, my first thought now is we need a little catalyst to spark some change. So what this can look like is, instead of being exhausted, they have more energy. They feel better, so they don't feel like they require as much food intake, which usually lessens a little bit of the caloric volume that they're eating, just because they feel better in general. And, you know, it's really any age. I have clients all the way up into 70 years old that have come into Evan's clinic, and it has absolutely changed their life. One of my most amazing clients will tell people all the time, if they ask him about his testosterone therapy, his response to them is, a lot of times they will ask, well, are you concerned? And let me back up. He actually is a medical professional at a very high level. So he has been in ORs and assisting doctors at a very high level of anesthesiology for years. And he knows his way around the medical field. So when people talk to him, they assume he's an expert because of that background. And they say, well, what do you think about your lifespan? Do you think it's going to have a negative effect? Maybe is it something detrimental to taking years off your life? And his response is, I don't think that is the case. But even if it were to be the case, I am going to go out having sex with my wife.
Let's go.
And hitting PRs in the gym.
Come on.
And if I die tomorrow, I am dying so much happier than I could be if I was just sitting around wallowing in my recliner chair. And he said, I encourage anyone to go, and if they are feeling rough, to go in and start some testosterone supplementation. So he has advocated for a lot of his friends, actually, and it's been interesting. One of his friends was really excited. He had gone out to lunch and got really excited about testosterone therapy, came in to the clinic, and they did some blood work and realized he had a PSA issue. So Evan can talk more to that, but when there's a PSA issue, that's usually some type of compromise to the prostate. And testosterone can sometimes accelerate some of that PSA number. And can do some adverse things to somebody with issues with the prostate. So Evan was able to reconfigure, go away from testosterone supplementation and supplement with other things in his clinic that have given him a big boost and lots of extra energy without testosterone. So even in the absence of an option for hormones, he's got an option here.
Trying to get guys healthy and happy and having sex, being healthy with their relationships. Coming up, Josh is going to tell us how to approach a woman at the gym. Let's talk about it. Go to getyourmanon.com.